Operation Gladio is the codename for a clandestine North Atlantic Treaty Organization stay-behind operation in Italy during the Cold War. Its purpose was to prepare for and implement armed resistance in the event of a Warsaw Pact invasion and conquest. Although Gladio specifically refers to the Italian branch of the NATO stay-behind organizations, Operation Gladio is used as an informal name for all of them. The name Gladio is the Italian form of gladius, a type of Roman shortsword. Stay-behind operations were prepared in many NATO member countries and some neutral countries. The role of the Central Intelligence Agency in Gladio and the extent of its activities during the Cold War era, and any relationship to terrorist attacks perpetrated in Italy during the years of lead, is the subject of debate. Switzerland and Belgium have had parliamentary inquiries into the matter. History and general stay-behind structure. World War II experience. In the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Winston Churchill created the Special Operations Executive in 1942 to assist resistance movements and carry out subversive operations in enemy-held territory across occupied Europe. Guardian reporter David Pallister wrote in December 1990 that a guerrilla network with arms caches had been put in place following the fall of France. It included Brigadier Mad Mike Calvert, and was drawn from the 5th Battalion of the Scots Guards, which was originally intended to fight against the Soviet forces attacking Finland. Known as auxiliary units, they were headed by Major Colin Gubbins, an expert in guerrilla warfare who later led the SOE. The auxiliary units were attached to GHQ Home Forces and concealed within the Home Guard. The units were created in preparation of a possible invasion of the British Isles by the Third Reich. These units were allegedly stood down only in 1944. Several of the members subsequently joined the Special Air Service and saw action in France in late 1944. Their existence did not become widely known by the public until the 1990s, despite a book on the subject being published in 1968, written by David Lamb. Post-war creation. After World War II, the UK and the US decided to create stay-behind paramilitary organizations, with the official aim of countering a possible Soviet invasion through sabotage and guerrilla warfare behind enemy lines. Arms caches were hidden, escape routes prepared, and loyal members recruited, whether in Italy or in other European countries. Its clandestine cells were to stay behind in enemy-controlled territory and to act as resistance movements conducting sabotage, guerrilla warfare and assassinations. The stay-behind armies were created with the experience and involvement of former SOE officers. Following Giulio Andreatti's October 1990 revelations, General Sir John Hackett, a former commander-in-chief of the British Army on the Rhine, declared on November 16, 1990, that a contingency plan involving stay-behind and resistance in depth was drawn up after the war. The same week, Sir Anthony Firrar-Hockley, a former commander-in-chief of NATO's forces in Northern Europe from 1979 to 1982, declared to The Guardian that a secret arms network was established in Britain after the war. Hackett had written in 1978 a novel, The Third World War, August 1985, which was a fictionalized scenario of a Soviet army invasion of West Germany in 1985. The novel was followed in 1982 by The Third World War, The Untold Story, which elaborated on the original. Firrar-Hockley had aroused controversy in 1983 when he became involved in trying to organize a campaign for a new Home Guard against a potential Soviet invasion, operating in all of NATO and even in some neutral countries such as Spain before its 1982 admission to NATO. Gladio was first coordinated by the Clandestine Committee of the Western Union, founded in 1948. After the creation of NATO in 1949, the CCW was integrated into the Clandestine Planning Committee, founded in 1951 and overseen by the Sheikh, transferred to Belgium after France's official withdrawal from the NATO military organization, but not from NATO, which was not followed by the dissolution of the French stay-behind paramilitary movements. Historian Daniele Ganser alleges that, next to the CPC, a second secret army command center, labeled Allied Clandestine Committee, was set up in 1957 on the orders of NATO's Supreme Allied Commander in Europe. This military structure provided for significant U.S. leverage over the secret stay-behind networks in Western Europe, as the SACEUR, throughout NATO's history, has traditionally been a U.S. general who reports to the Pentagon in Washington and is based in NATO's supreme headquarters Allied Powers Europe in Mons, Belgium. The ACC's duties included elaborating on the directives of the network, developing its clandestine capability, and organizing bases in Britain and the United States. In wartime, it was to plan stay-behind operations in conjunction with Sheikh. According to former CIA Director William Colby, it was a major program, coordinated by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The secret armies were run by the European Military Secret Services in close cooperation with the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency and the British Foreign Secret Service Secret Intelligence Service, trained together with U.S. Green Berets and British Special Air Service. These clandestine NATO soldiers, armed with underground arms caches, prepared against a potential Soviet invasion and occupation of Western Europe, as well as the coming to power of communist parties. The clandestine international network covered the European NATO membership, including Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, Spain, and Turkey, as well as the neutral European countries of Austria, Finland, Sweden and Switzerland. The Central Intelligence Agency responded to the series of accusations made by Ganser in his book regarding the CIA's involvement in Operation Gladio, by claiming that neither Ganser nor anyone else could have solid evidence supporting their accusations. At one point in his book, Ganser talks about the CIA's covert action policies as being terrorist in nature, and then accuses the CIA of using their networks for political terrorism. The CIA responded by noting that Daniele Ganser's sourcing is largely secondary, and that Ganser himself has complained about not being able to find any official sources to support his charges of the CIA's or any Western European government's involvement with Gladio. The existence of these clandestine NATO units remained a closely guarded secret throughout the Cold War until 1990, when the first branch of the international network was discovered in Italy. It was codenamed Gladio, the Italian word for a short double-edged sword. While the press said that the NATO stay-behind units were the best-kept and most damaging political military secret since World War II, the Italian government, amidst sharp public criticism, promised to close down the secret army. Italy insisted identical clandestine units had also existed in all other countries of Western Europe. This allegation proved correct, and subsequent research found that in Belgium, the secret NATO unit was code-named SDRA-8, in Denmark Absalon, in Germany TDBJD, in Greece LOC, in Luxembourg Stay Behind, in the Netherlands and AMP-O, in Norway ROC, in Portugal Agente Press, in Spain Red Quantum, in Switzerland P26, in Turkey Özel Harp Derizi, in Sweden AGAG, in France Plan Blue, and in Austria OWSGV. However, The code name of the stay-behind unit in Finland remains unknown. Upon learning of the discovery, the Parliament of the European Union drafted a resolution sharply criticizing the fact. Yet only Italy, Belgium and Switzerland carried out parliamentary investigations, while the administration of President George H.W. Bush refused to comment. If Gladio was effectively the best-kept and most damaging political military secret since World War II, it must be underlined, however, that on several occasions, arms caches were discovered and stay-behind paramilitary organizations officially dissolved. NATO's stay-behind organizations were never called upon to resist a Soviet invasion. According to a November 13, 1990, Reuters cable, André Moyen, a former member of the Belgian Military Security Service and of the network, said Gladio was not just anti-communist but was for fighting subversion in general. He added that his predecessor had given Gladio 142 million francs to buy new radio equipment.